Hey, what's up, guys? Tugi here, back again. This is Draft to Glory, and let's get right down to business. It is time to sim through another season. Of course, in the last episode, we took care of the re-sign phase. We took care of the draft. We're ready to move on. I do have a couple of roster spots, so I might take advantage of, we'll just quickly breeze through to see if there's any, anybody we should sign. I should sign at least some players to max deals anyway, since we have $49 million in cap space. But by the way, Charlie McAvoy is a UFA. How I'd love to be able to sign him. But that is not going to happen. I think the one guy I am going to look to bring back, as a lot of you guys wanted me to do, we will probably look at bringing back Chris Rumble. And I think we'll give him that max deal. But let's see. Is there anybody else? Of course, most of these guys, we would have passed up on last year. So I don't think we've really missed the boat on anybody. Unless, of course, there was somebody who wasn't drafted. But, man, even giving Chris Rumble a max deal is just a drop in the bucket for how much cap space we have. But let's do it. 15 mil. We'll sign Chris Rumble to the max deal. And actually, you know what? Let's sim forward a day just to make sure he accepts. And then I'll try to sign as many other guys as I can. But we're good to go. The team is slowly but surely improving, which is awesome. But there you go. Chris Rumble is back in the fold here in Washington. It's just a matter of time, man. We need certain players to progress. Eventually, we will get to that point where we have a team, both NHL and AHL level, that are made up of our draft picks. It's going to take some time, but that is why I am continuing the trend of just simming I was going to say a ton of games. Right now, we're on the pace of simming a season per episode, which isn't too bad. Again, I've mentioned it. There's no reason to take our time with any of this because of the rules of the series. So really quickly, is there anybody else that I want to sign? I'm just looking for, kind of weird names at the moment. That's all. Just looking for some weird names. You know what? We'll even start going off of first names. Shweden Blacksmith. Sure. You have a funny name. He'd be an entry-level deal, though. So you know what we'll do? We'll look for the veterans instead. Let's see if there are any veterans who are terrible. Would people be against me signing Nicholas Kronwall? It's not like he'd make our team any better, Kronwall and Umberger. But we do have these two 68s. We have Teemu Laine and Andreas Jamtin. He's jamming out, man. All right, we'll go with him. Yeah, let's just not a 7-year deal. No, thank you. We'll have to dip just a little bit below that max deal. And then we'll go up to Laine. And we'll sign him again for close. Or not sign him again, but we'll also sign him to one of those deals. Is there anybody else? We have another guy here. R2 Luutinen. I have no idea. And that should pretty much do it. I think all but one of the guys will be able to accept that deal. And then we'll be good to go. And hopefully that'll allow us the flexibility to actually set up our team the way we want to. Again, it does kind of suck getting stuck. And it was Laine who unfortunately couldn't sign. It does suck, with how little cap space or how little of the cap we're taking up. It can cause us to not be able to, get the roster set up the way we want. Most of our players, at the very least, will be at the NHL level. It'll be interesting to see if someone like Dylan Plouffe, who I think played the AHL last year, if we can get him back onto the main roster. And, 75 offense, 76 defense, 77 goaltending. It'll be interesting to see the progression, of course. Nolan Patrick at an 86 overall. We'll see if he can get that much closer to a 90, which is the hope. What will Owen Lane, Andrei Svechnikov, what will they look like? We could be in store for a half-decent season. Now, keep in mind what a half-decent season means for us. That means about a dozen wins tops. But progression, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. We have to keep our expectations in check, of course, for the first decade of this season, of this series. I was going to say season series, and it all came out at once. So Marmondland, right now, is the best goalie on our team, with Ottinger as the second best. So Belanger will be sent down, and that's looking all right. Marmondland at a 76. Not too shabby. Defensively, Moroza is our best defenseman at a 79 overall. We have Hayduk, Manulin. McSween isn't ours technically, and neither is former captain Chris Russell. Neither is Middleton, actually. I keep forgetting that. Middleton is not ours, but the top 3 defensemen on our team are. So that's awesome. Now, Kip Goring is our player. We're not going to be able to send down Rumble. Monez is ours. Plouffe is up to a 67. And Verkunen. I completely forgot about Verkunen. Oh, wow. It's actually going to let us do that. Oh, that's right, because he's on a one-way deal. So we're good with that. Well, let me double check here. So Verkunen needs to be called up. And then we have those guys that are a little bit further down the pecking order. So let's see here. All of these players are ours. So we have the top 6 here. Plouffe or Verkunen would be sent down to the AHL for the season. Right. Although, I could just call up McSween and Middleton. We'll call up those 2. 5, 6. And we'll send Plouffe and Verkunen back. Yeah, we'll do that. Oh, actually, damn. What do I want to do here? So we have McSween and Middleton. All right, here we go. We'll do it this way. I don't know what to do here. I just want to make sure people get ice time, but also, hey, the better we are, the more games we might win, people might get better. So, you know what, here, let's call up these 2 again. So we know that Ferraro and Hedberg will be down at the AHL level, which is fine. They probably won't be playing either, because we're going to be going best lines throughout the season. So we're not really going to be able to get them to play. Now, Verkunen's potential is obviously much better. So Plouffe will be sent back down. That is our team. Plouffe would be on the second pairing at the AHL level. So that's the question. Do I want Monez and Verkunen? Let's send them down to the AHL. Let's call up McSween and Middleton. So our top 3 defensemen in the AHL are all our players, and they'll be getting some decent playing time. And then from there, Moroza, Hayduk, Manulin, and Goring, who are all at least above a 70. Moroza almost broke in the 80 overall mark. We'll get some time. Svechnikov and Lane are 76s. Okay, so Ekman is ours. Jamton we can send down. Lutonen we can send down. Everyone's ours. Skidung is not. McSween is not. We'll have to send him down afterwards. Wenquist, though, a 75. Not too shabby. Who else do we have here that belongs to us? I cannot remember, so I am just double-checking really quick. Cal Davis is the only one. Right. Which, he doesn't take up that much importance. So, I'll probably send down Ekman, too. Well, again, he does have a decent value. You know what? Who gives a shit if we have Davis on the team, I guess. We still can't do that. So let me call up Sloboshan. He'll be on the roster. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. There you go. There you go. So that would be the team, unless I want Skidong, Playfair. Basically, do I want the team to be better, or do I want these players to actually get some ice time? And again, I think I'm going to lean towards just having the better team. So let's call up Skidong. And then Playfair, I can't pronounce your name still, or Tyler Wong. Tyler Wong is the best offensively. But I'm going to go with Austin Playfair. Let's go with Austin Playfair. And we're looking decent, kind of. Kind of, sort of. Of course, we have some guys like Connor Gay, who was in the 60s when we signed him. Of course, we had to sign him to his entry-level deal. He'll be cut after this season. So, there are some players here who are just filling up a spot. So we might not get certain guys like Davis and Ekman into the lineup this year, but they'll still progress despite not playing. It's a necessary sacrifice. So let's go best lines. Winquist is on the second line, which isn't bad. And Nicholas Motto is ours, but again, if we keep going best lines, we're just not going, we're not going to worry about this throughout the year. So let's go best lines again down at the AHL level. The defense is good. Manes, we have Rakunin and Plouffe. All right, we are looking good. And then goaltenders, we don't have anybody to worry about, so we'll have Belanger play. And hopefully he can lead the Hershey Bears to some wins. Let's get into the sim. Because the plan is still to sim the entire season, which shouldn't take too long. Probably go through the draft and then another offseason. People keep mentioning to me as well, before going into the draft, to double check, which, like to double check prospects, which I imagine is this menu right here. But I'm not too concerned about that. I can't remember, actually, now that I say that, if that was meant for this series or the other of like a Nation United. It might have been meant for a Nation United, now that I think about it. With the draft, though, it's just, I've talked about it in so many episodes, it's just so inconsistent that I just typically don't care. I mean, it would be relevant in a Nation United where we're only allowed to assign Swedes, and actually, now that I think about it, I did just assign us to the SHL for 6 weeks. Boy, am I tired. Boy, am I getting a bit lost here. So let's go 3 weeks. 3 weeks for WHL forwards. Now we're back on track. Too many conflicting thoughts about numerous series going on at the same time. And it was easy to get confused with 2 series going on at the same time, let alone 3. But I am loving the challenge of it. I am absolutely loving the challenge of it. And I'm glad I avoided waiting to start this series, because it's very, I guess, stress-free. There's not much management to it. We suck. We are going to continue to suck until we are quite a few seasons into this series. So I don't have too much to worry about. So that's pretty sweet. That's the good thing about this series. And like I said, I could have done it later on, in the summer as we approach NHL 18, which this series, combined with the Nation United and Rebuilding Hockeytown for that matter, Rebuilding Hockeytown will finish first out of these series. But the plan, like I've mentioned, is to probably not have another new franchise mode until after the real-life free agency starts on July 1st. I believe it's still July 1st. So that's the plan. We do get, wow, we've won 2 games already. Holy shit. We're on record pace here. We've won 2 games already. My God. We've won 3 games already. We have a winning record through 5 games, boys. What is going on? Oh my God, that's incredible. That's incredible. Damn. Anyway, I'd want to update the rosters like I've talked about, and seeing how potential, has continued to work, and, updating certain player overalls and potentials, adding a ton of players to the game as we get another win, because there have been so many players that have signed with the NHL, mainly with Toronto. They're just signing every goddamn Swedish defenseman right now. But most of those guys in the game, of course, EA doesn't pay a whole hell of a lot of attention to them, so I've gone through and edited those potentials. Basically, I want to wait, to be able to update the rosters. With the Vegas Golden Knights, of course, in the expansion draft, the unfortunate thing, unless I change my mind on how I want to approach that, July 10th, let's say we start our new series, and it's a quote-unquote more realistic series, right? It's a straightforward series where we take control of Montreal or the Rangers, 2 of the more popular teams that people want to see me use, which I imagine that I will, if not in this game, with NHL 18. But, we take control of one of those teams. It'd be like Rebuilding Hockeytown, where there's not a fantasy draft gimmick or anything else behind it. God, I hate saying as I lose my train of thought. I've tried not to do that. I've gotten a hell of a lot better at it with this series. That's one thing that I hate. A lot of other people do it, and that's fine. But for me, I try to cut out saying and like to extend a sentence. I'd rather just have there be a momentary pause, or just dead silence, as I get my train of thought together. But with that potential new series, the hope is to get the updated rosters, like I mentioned. And then with Vegas, the unfortunate thing is, more than likely, I will have to just remove the players from the game. And what I say by that, it's not like I hack the game and remove them. But when you edit rosters, all you have to do is put a player onto an international team, and they won't show up anymore. You can do the opposite, too, like with Ilya Kovalchuk. You can take him from Team Russia and put him on free agency, which I might end up having to put him on an actual NHL team, which would be pretty sweet. But with the Knights, say they take Seth Griffith from Toronto, odds are I'll just take Seth Griffith out of the game because I don't just want to dump a bunch of players onto the free agent list or anything. So I'll treat it as if they're in the KHL, basically. And that's how I've always viewed it, which is a shame because I'd love to add Chipachov to the team. I'd love to add him to the game, but we'll save that for next year. And that'll be pretty sweet to have him in the game. And who knows how else the who knows how the Vegas Golden Knights will shape up. It's beyond exciting to see what will happen there, as Winquist ends up on the top line. Not too bad. Way to go, buddy. Way to go. We'll keep the team the same. Well, we will go best lines down in the AHL. But still very interesting to see how that will shape up. And then, of course, NHL 18. It's already rumored, of course, that you will be able to not only do your own fantasy draft with the Knights, but then also do an expansion draft to add a 32nd team to the NHL. Of course, much like the NFL has with their 32 teams. So that would be pretty sweet, and I'm looking forward to that. I am very much looking forward to NHL 18 and having the Vegas Golden Knights in the game. Now, as far as like a series with the Golden Knights go, I don't think I would do like, oh, here, I'm going to draft my own Golden Knights team, because I'd much rather at that stage just have their real roster. But that'll be a very, very common series with NHL 18. You will see the vast majority of hockey YouTubers doing that series where, hey, here's the expansion Seattle Thunderbirds, or whatever the hell they'd call a new expansion Seattle team, or people would do the expansion draft for like the Nordiques or any other random city. So I'm not sure if that would be one of the first few series that I do on NHL 18. Honestly, NHL 18 might be a great time to finally do a Rangers series, to finally do a Habs series. Those two teams are nearly always at the top of the poll as far as votes go for teams that you guys want to see me use. So maybe that would be the right time. Who's to say? It's going to be interesting, man. I'm so excited for how the channel is going right now. I am so excited for how the channel is going, especially now, of course, like I said, with the EA partnership, which is fantastic. NHL 18 on the horizon. It's been crazy. It's been crazy, and I am in really good spirits about things. And that's what's awesome, is that, yeah, it means, in real life, the playoffs are almost over. Of course, I'm actually recording this after Nashville just sealed their spot in the Stanley Cup final, which is pretty damn sweet. As I thought I just heard my dog, whining. She's right behind me, but I think she's good. She might have just, scared herself awake, I think. But with NHL 18, very excited for that. Very excited for the different possibilities of series, not only with franchise mode, but with Ultimate Team. Like I said, I've really been enjoying Ultimate Team a lot. And I don't necessarily have a plan for an Ultimate Team series at this exact moment for NHL 18, but that's what's awesome about it, is who knows what ideas will come up in the next couple of months as we lead into that. I do want to say, though, now that I've mentioned the Nashville Predators and the fact that they're going to the Stanley Cup final, I haven't uploaded a Be a Pro episode in a while, and I don't know, that series is in limbo. I'm not completely I'm just not having fun with it. No, it's been a fun series to do so far, and I did enjoy having it kind of just be here's Be a Pro, but it's mainly me talking about what's going on in the real life hockey world, especially early on in the playoffs, talking about the Oilers a lot in those videos. That was a common theme, but then in a way, I'm like, well, am I really giving the full attention to this series that it deserves? It's tough. I do prefer, as far as priority list, it's franchise, ultimate team, and then anything else. But it's tough because I know a lot of people that have been like, oh, I want to, what do you think about the Oilers this postseason? Had no idea that I was talking about that stuff in the Be a Pro videos. So, as far as Be a Pro goes moving forward, I think it is still something I'll continue. I'm not sure if I want to continue with an enforcer, though. It's just a lot of different decisions to make as I'm trying to hold off these burps. It's just not happening. It's just not happening. That is the one drawback to my favorite beverage. Oh my god. I'm not going to say their name anymore until they sponsor me, by the way. I'm not going to say their name anymore. I want to be sponsored, damn it. Coke, Coca-Cola. I'll say their name once. They have their own esports team. I want to be the face of the favorite beverage of mine's esports team. Let's make that happen. That's the goal. 100,000 subscribers? Who gives a damn? I want to be the official esports player of Arnold Palmer Half and Half. That is your last free plug, might I add. What the hell am I talking about anymore? Oh my god. That's what I love about this video, man. It's like, what am I going to talk about throughout the season, right? So I'm just sitting here entertaining myself, and it is wonderful. Now, really quickly, we need to send Mane's down again. Oh, no, wait, we'd be under the limit. Hold on, let me double check here. So, defenseman, 2, 4, 6. So, yeah, Mane's needs to go back. Or do I just want to send down McSween at this point? He is only a 72. No, we'll send down Mane's, and then, or Manez, and then we'll call up these two, and I'm going to send down Playfair. Whoops, what did I do wrong there? Oh, there we go. Alright, so we'll send down Playfair and call up these two because they're bouncing back a bit. Alright, things are looking pretty good. But overall, happy with NHL 18, happy with how things are going right now. Very, very undecided, I guess, would be the word for Be a Pro. As holy shit, Marmanland's up to a 78. Marmanland has a 909 save percentage. Oh my god, that would be why. That would be why we've had. He is the only player we've ever had with over a 900 save percentage. We're getting better, guys. We're getting better. Can you believe it? Alexander Belanger doing very well for the Hershey Bears. They have 15 wins this year. The Caps have more wins than the Hershey Bears. Who would have thought, coming into this season, that would be the case? Certainly not me. But now that I've mentioned Nashville and, Be a Pro, I wanted to really mention Be a Pro when I brought them up. But for the Preds, incredible to see them in the final. Who would have thought of all the years that, they've kind of been contenders, never making it past, I believe, the second round with Shea Weber? But this is finally the year, even with the injury to Ryan Johansson and Kevin Fiala. Mike Fisher didn't play Game 6. Who would have thought that this would be the year that the Preds would finally make it and break through? It is crazy. And I know a lot of people kind of slag off the fan base. Like, a lot of people are impressed. A lot of people hate on them because, calling them a lot of... the term fair weather fans it's been thrown around a lot because of, here's this piece of paper that came with your program that explains the rules of the game, and here's our chance. I don't care. Who cares? I've never cared, like, I'm a bigger hockey fan than you are. It's like, if someone wants to go to the game and have fun, more fucking power to them. More power to them. Whether or not they know the rules of the game, whether or not they need help being led along with chants, or some people are saying that the PA announcer, and this might be true, I don't know, some people are saying that the PA announcer needed to tell people to throw hats on the ice for a hat trick and stuff like that. I don't care. They're loud, and the building's not a morgue like some other places in the NHL. So I don't care. I don't care. I really don't. Whenever it's... And I'll say this. As a fan, I've mentioned it before. I've been a fan of pro wrestling since I was a kid, and all the other shit that goes along with it. It's just, it's just something I still enjoy watching. Much like a hockey game, it's much more entertaining if the crowd is into it and making noise as opposed to sitting on their hands, which happens in hockey as well. So if Nashville's fans need to be instructed on how to be true hockey fans, who gives a shit? Bottom line is, they're in the Stanley Cup final. It's hilarious. I'm extremely happy for PK Subban, and to see a player of that caliber be in the Cup final is going to be amazing. Amazing to watch, and I'm very excited for the start of that series. Of course, we don't know who they're playing. Pittsburgh dominated Ottawa in Game 5. Looking forward to that game. Should be very, very interesting. But needless to say, for Pittsburgh, you're going to want to win Game 6 because you are going to want that extra time off. That extra time off, that extra little bit of time to heal up is going to be crucial. Now that Nashville has that time off, if Pittsburgh goes to a Game 7 against the Sens, or, hell, even if the Sens move on, if that series goes to 7 games, that's going to be one very tired team facing a rested Nashville team. So that's going to be very interesting to watch. But I'd say Pittsburgh, a very good chance of winning back-to-back, or not back, the first back-to-back cup since the 97-98 season, which is absurd to think about. Absolutely absurd to think about. But again, it will be very interesting to see what happens. By the way, yes, I noticed we won quite a few games this year. We'll talk about that in a minute. The last few months here, as I just try to sim one area at a time, it's going to take a little bit. It's going to add to the episode time. But the fact that we're, just over 25 minutes into this episode, under half an hour for sure, and we've already simmed through a season, that is fantastic. We are on a very, very good pace. And, I'm not even going to bother scouting that goalie for a week because who cares? Who cares? That one Russian goalie will turn out to be a franchise-level player. Just watch, I'm sure. I'm sure that will be the case. But as we, approach the draft here, where I'll actually get to start to talk about the season that just happened a bit more, I always do feel like I forgot to mention something. I talked about a lot in the past 25 plus minutes, from NHL 18, of course, to, what's going on with the real-life playoffs. But that's the great thing. That is the great thing about this video. This style of video. It just gives me a chance to ramble. And that's what's awesome about it. Not that I don't like, say for the playoffs, making a structured, scripted video where I can really talk about things. Not that I don't enjoy that style. But, this, where I'm just kind of shooting the shit, I love this. I really do. But there you go. That does it for the rambling portion of this video. Now we can get back on track. The Arizona Coyotes have won the Stanley Cup. The Hartford Wolfpack won the Calder. We finished the year with 19 wins. If you would have told me that the Hershey Bears would have fewer wins than our main squad, I would have called you a liar. Unbelievable year for us. That is fantastic, and of course, by far, our best season yet. So we'll take a look at our stats. We'll take a look at the playoffs, the Cup winner, their team, and then we'll move on to the draft in this video. Hell yeah. Let's do it. So we finished, of course, dead last in the NHL. The Coyotes only had 96 points, but we finished dead last with 44 points. I never would have thought that we'd have 44 points by this stage. We finished with 152 goals, by far the fewest, but look at that goals against. That goals against is very close to being under 300. Not too shabby at all. Our power play, we didn't have the league's worst power play. Oh my God. The Devils, how bad was your power play? The penalty kill, we didn't have the league's worst penalty kill either. Holy shit, we're improving. This is incredible. This is incredible. the progression of this team already. Nolan Patrick up to an 89, potentially even a 90. The morale might have dropped it. But he finished with 65 points, 55 for Andrei Svechnikov, showing up as an 81. Owen Lane with 49. He's still a 76. But Ross Winquist up to an 81. He had 39 points. Sloboshan, who isn't ours, we don't have to worry about. Vaclav Hayduk up to a 77 with 31 points. 75 overall, 31-point season for Nicholas Motto. I just said that completely out of order. Mike Boyes, also our player, 23 points. Walter McIntyre, another guy of ours, with 72 points this season. The worst player plus-minus wise for us was Moroza, a minus 73. But compared to some of the plus-minus stats that we had previously, that is an unreal stat for us. Marmondland with 72 appearances, 20 for Ottinger, whatever. But remember, of course, that, Marmondland would have been pulled out of quite a few games. He finished with a 906 save percentage, though, which is absolutely absurd. Absolutely absurd. Belanger finished with a 918 for the Hershey Bears. And really quickly, any of our players that are actually signed to us, Plouffe had 15 points, and he's up to a 70. Verkunen had 15 points as well in his rookie year. So let's take a look. Let's take a look here at the league-wide stats. And then, of course, we'll take a look at the rookie race before getting into the team stats. Steven Stamkos, 94 points. Pretty much dominated the league. Anthony Duclair up there for the Pittsburgh Penguins. The rookie race, yikes. I don't know who the favorite is. Is it Samuel Girard? 9 points in 23 games as an 81 overall rookie defenseman. Or is there a goalie who's going to walk away with it? That is the question. And I'd say Linus Soderstrom has a pretty good chance. Man, that is not an impressive rookie race at all. At all. Holy shit. Wow, that is rough. How Blue just at 26 shows up as a rookie, I have no idea. Absolutely no idea. It'd be funny if Gutierrez or Scognamigilio ended up with the Calder. That'd be pretty funny. We're going to find out in a minute. And actually, for the hell of it, why not? Let's go look at AHL scoring, just for the hell of it. Because, of course, in different series, we've seen that some players have absolutely dominated the league, as Francois Beauchemin. It was Eli Tolvanen in another series that showed up as a monster. Owen Tippett up there for the Manitoba Moose. I figured really quickly, though, that it was worth a look. Let's go ahead and look at the awards. See if we managed to take home any hardware this season. So 4 years in, 4 different Cup winners. Steven Stamkos wins the Art Ross for the second time, as well as the Hart Trophy. Roman Josi for the Maple Leafs wins the Norris. Tarasenko, the Lady Byng. Kakkonen, the goalie for Winnipeg, wins the Calder. All right, Stolars, the Conn Smythe. Jonathan Quick, the Vezina, and the Jennings. The Masterton goes to Gudis once again. The Selke to Kopitar, the Ted Lindsay, and the Rocket Richard to Steven Stamkos. Down at the AHL level, again, 4 different winners. Cam Dineen takes home some hardware, quite a bit of hardware. The Hartford Wolfpack turned out to be a pretty damn good team. Man, they turned out to be a pretty damn good team. No hardware for us this season. But that's all right. We made some pretty big steps forward. There you get a look at the playoff bracket for both the NHL and AHL level. We'll take a look at the Stanley Cup winners, the Arizona Coyotes, just to see what their team looked like. What does a Stanley Cup winning team look like in this sim? Let's find out. For forwards, you have Jack Eichel, Louis Eriksson, Tyler Ennis, Jonathan Huberdeau, Elias Lindholm, Marco Dano, Michael McLeod, Kevin LeBlanc, Nick Ritchie, Devin Cedoroff, Patrick Berglund, and Martin Dzierkals. All right, then. Pretty good team, though. Pretty good team. Well-rounded team. I'm not surprised. Defensively, they do have Oliver Ekman-Larsson. They also have Andrei Sekera, Kevin Shattenkirk, Dylan Blugis, Darnell Nurse, Shea Theodore, Brandon Montour, and Ian McCoshen. Not too shabby. And, of course, we know it's Stolars, Also with Alex Lyon as the backup. A good team. I'll give them credit. It is a good team. It's not one of those head scratchers of how the hell did they win a cup. That's a good team. I'm not all that surprised. Let's move forward with the draft, shall we? Let's move forward and get into the draft. Why not? Why the hell not? I'll just scout the Czech League forwards for a week. Not like it matters. We might get another scouting week out of it. If we do, I'm not going to assign it. I'll just let the game do it for me. You get a look at the lottery, and again, we lose the lottery. Chicago gets the number 1 overall pick. We got the first overall pick in year 1, and we were able to draft Nolan Patrick. We haven't won since. We've lost a lottery in 3 straight years. At least this time, though, we're at the number 2 pick. As, Chris Rumble retired. The end of an era. Chris Rumble retires. I'm sorry, guys. He was my favorite. He was your favorite, too. Chris Rumble retires. But like I was saying, at least this time out, we didn't fall to the 4th pick. We still have the 2nd overall pick. But again, we need to make sure that we make the most of this pick as you get a look at the retired players list. We need to make the most of this. We need to hit on these picks. We started off very well in the last year's draft. I forgot to look at the thing. I'm sorry for whoever wanted me to do that. Last year's draft, the first 2 picks, first round, second round, we did very well. But then we kind of fell off from there. Which is a little bit of a shame. This year, I really wish we had the first pick. Because this guy here, James Duncan, looks like a pretty solid player. Damn, there is a goalie inside the top 10 as well, Stefan Quirk. And I might have to make an off-the-board pick here, guys. I might have to. That's tough. That's tough to say. We have Brendan Milson from the States. We have James Duncan. We have Ray Yip, who played for Kamloops. We also have Stefan Schroeder, played for HV71. And Yves Pelletier. But a goalie inside the top 10, that's normally a really good sign. So I have a tough choice. I have a really tough choice. All right, well, first off, fingers crossed that Duncan is still available. We'll sim the pick. Damn it. Chicago. God damn it. The lottery screws us again as we miss out on James Duncan, medium elite potential. So now I have the tough decision. Do I go with an off-the-board pick? Because I'm willing to bet he's really good. High starter potential. He's going to be really good. That might even be, low elite potential? Or do we go with one of the players projected inside the top 5? And it's a bit of a shame because I did scout out the area. Yves Pelletier should have shown up more than once. Milson, not looking too bad. Yip or Scro... I don't have the information to know whether or not they're good enough. But Stephen Quirk could be our goalie for the future. He could be the guy. Do I take a risk in the first round? So Milson's a playmaker, 18 years old, could immediately go to the NHL or AHL level. Yip would have to go down. He'd have to play at the NHL level or be sent down. Schroeder could play for either, and then again, another Canadian in Yves Pelletier. Oh man, this is tough. Guys, I'm going to go with my gut here. I'm going to go with my gut and make an off-the-board pick. We're going to go with Stephen Quirk. And fingers crossed I don't regret this. Let's find out. He is a medium elite goalie. Let's take a look really quick at Duncan, and we'll see what we have with Quirk, and whether or not we made the wrong choice. Now, Duncan, oh my God. We had to lose the lottery this year. Oh my God. 76 overall at 19 years old, medium elite, with that trade value. Oh my God. He would have been perfect for this team. That is such a low blow. We could have used him. Damn it. By the way, our trade values, Patrick's looking good, Svechnikov, Lindqvist, everyone else is pretty low. But let's take a look. The value for Quirk, half bar. Holy shit. Wow. See, I thought he would be at Ottinger's level. Maybe not as good. Hell no, man. He has for real trade value. Now, I know what you're saying. You know, Ottinger will probably be pretty good. And you're right, he will be. But we need that other goalie. We need that level of goalie in our system. So I don't regret that pick whatsoever. Not at all. He might play he was an American goalie too, so he could be the AHL starter heading into next year with Ottinger and Marmanland as the 1-2 once again at the NHL level. I'm all right with that. I am all right with that. I feel like that was a really good pick for us. We just got to... Now, the one problem is if we end up in future... Like, say next year there's a franchise-level goalie. But you can't make picks based on, what might happen in the future. Schroeder was medium elite. So, again, we did pass up on a medium elite goalie. Duncan would have been an amazing player to have. But let's take a look here. Schroeder, about the same value as our goaltender. 63 overall, though, at 18 years old. I really wanted to get Duncan. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. He would have been the perfect player to end up with, but that's what happens. That's what can happen with the series. Yip was also medium elite. Milson was high top 9. And Pelletier was medium elite. So let's look at St. Louis and Dallas. Because I can't say for sure that I would have picked Schroeder on defenseman. Or, yeah, it's probably pronounced that way. It just kind of sounds weird. Holy shit. Well, I'm glad I didn't pick Pelletier, for sure. 67 overall at 19, but the value is not there. And then for St. Louis, they picked Yip. And how good is he? Oh, fuck. 75 overall at 18 years old. Ray Yip. 75 overall at 18 years old. And with those stats, he would have been at the NHL level immediately. So, guys, it's tough. It's tough. Now, again, we missed out on Duncan, who would have been the number 1 pick. We had the information on Quirk, and he is a good player, but Yip would have been incredibly helpful. So we didn't have the option for the best defenseman. We did have the option for the best forward, but we didn't know for sure if he was the best forward. We had the info on the best goaltender available. That's who we took. Let me know down in the comments below. Did I make a mistake taking Steven Quirk over Ray Yip? Let me know what you think. It's so tough to say. Duncan was obviously the guy, but it is very tough to say. There was actually another medium elite guy there for Buffalo. It was an enforcer with medium top 4 potential. Oh my God. But here we go. We got to get back to it. We have to move on. And now here, first to second round, we have 2 guys projected as high top 6. There are actually other goalies here. We have Damian Wozniewski, and we also have Curtis Clark. But they'd probably be low to medium starter. So I don't regret that. But we have 2 offensive defensemen to pick from here. There is a third. We have Pavel Antropov, but no guaranteeing how good he is. So Ola Eriksson, 19 years old, or Nolan Henderson, the Canadian, who did play for the CHL. Eriksson, Henderson, or Antropov. That is our decision. And I still don't know if I made the right choice, man. In the first round, I knew that goalie was going to be good, but I just don't know if I made the right choice. Antropov, there's no telling how good he is. It has to be one of these 2. Do we go with Nolan Henderson, knowing we couldn't send him down to the AHL, or do we go with Ola Eriksson, who is a year older, which means he's probably an overall point better, or maybe even more. And for that reason, I'm going to go with Ola Eriksson. And we'll hope that I'm making the right decision. Ola Eriksson ends up being medium top 4. That's a really good value for us. Antropov was high 7th. Oh, thank God we didn't go with him. And then Henderson was also medium top 4. So let's look at these two guys here. Let's look at these two guys. I'm feeling really good about this draft. We had a very strong goaltender and a really strong defenseman. It's just, did we make the right choice with taking that goalie over Yip? And again, it's all hindsight. With Yip, there was no way to tell. But we were meant to look at New Jersey here, were we not? And wow, Henderson, 69 overall at 18 years old. Not very good trade value, though. But still, 69 overall at 18 years old, he would have made the NHL roster. Then we have our guy, Eriksson, who's a 65. Damn it. Now, he is worse. He is 4 overall points worse. The trade value is about equal. But I do have the benefit of being able to send Eriksson down to the AHL. But I think we made the wrong choice with that one. I do. I think we made the wrong choice with that one. It's tough to say. I think both guys will probably end up in the same spot. It's just that Henderson is a little bit better now. So overall, tough call. It is a tough call. But I don't know. I'm still feeling all right about this. I mean, ideally, we would have ended up with Duncan. But I can't let that go. But I have to. So far, a good draft. We haven't, we haven't blown it out of the water. But a good draft so far. And now we're in the deep water of what the hell do we do. So second to third round here, you would assume these guys would be better. Now, we don't have much information on any of them. We have Fredrik Sundin, 19-year-old Swedish defenseman. We have a goalie here, Glenn Dembski, but we don't need a goalie. We have Jamie Hendrickson. We have Pekka Koskinen and Tiny Stewart. Awesome. Now, we could go with one of those. Again, we don't exactly need another goalie. We do have Marion Saget, which is hilarious, in the third to fourth round, or Nathaniel Prosser later on. But then, the best we have is high bottom 6. We have high bottom 6 scouted, high 7th D. We have a high backup goalie as well, Seth Stamkos. So goaltending, we can look in future rounds. What do we have for exact? We do have an exact top 6 guy projected to go in the third round. Now, will he end up being medium top 9 or something like that, or maybe even low top 6 potentially? He'll probably end up being low top 6. Now, he's projected to go in the third round, and we have a couple of other guys there. So, he's probably the best guy to go with. Again, I could take a chance on Koskinen, Sundin, Hendrickson, or Stewart, but I think this guy right here is the guy to go with. Christian Ahonen, 18-year-old Swede who played for Vach. I think it's... how the fuck do you pronounce that again? It's like Vacho or something. I have no fucking idea. It's fine. He won't be on the board by the time we make our next pick. So we got to go with him. Christian Ahonen. And we'll hope that we're making the right choice here. And he is low top 6, as I figured he would be. Hendrickson was low top 9. Dembski was high backup. And I didn't want to hit trade for pick. I didn't want to do that. Let's back out of this really quick. We will sim to our next pick. And we'll just scroll through here, see if we made the right choice. Koskinen was low top 6. So in the third round, Tiny Stewart, medium top 9. Medium top 6. Oh yeah, we made the right choice. 100%. So that's a good pick. Third round last year, we really screwed it up. Now, here's an interesting dilemma. Do we go with Saget? Not that we need another goalie. Although we could still use another goalie at the AHL level. So for that reason, I think we will go with Marion Saget. And then in the next round, it'll probably be Bourdon, Parent, and Beauregard. One of those guys. We also have Kong and Gagne. High 7th D defenseman. I think we got to go with that goalie. We have a high backup as well. And then from there, a couple of other guys. Valaket might still be available. Charpentier might still be available as well. Let's go with Saget. Oh, his name was Bob. But let's pick Saget. He's medium starter. That's not too bad. Our goaltending is looking good. Now we have 4 goaltenders. Actually, 5. Our goaltenders could be solely our players, as opposed to having, guys in there like Belanger who don't actually, belong to our team, so to speak. We're essentially borrowing them until we can afford to get rid of them. Shields, Ulbrich, a couple of decent players go, but I'm very happy with the pick that we made. No doubt about that. And indeed, Valaket is still available. The question is he low top 9? And is there anybody better than that we can get? We have another high fringe starter goalie, who it might not be the worst idea in the world to take him. We have high 7th D players, which means they're probably low top 6. High backup. Now, he's probably low starter. I think we got really lucky with him being, with the other goalie, Saget, being medium starter. But let's see here. And then you have a bunch of high AHL top 6. Yeah, so from there it really declines. Exact 7th. So do we go? The decision is down. We could take Beauchemin. We could take him. I don't think he'd be terrible. Serge Beauchemin. We could take Michel Valaket. Play for the Quebec Ramparts. Charpentier is available. We have a couple of decent options here. Charpentier is a decent option. Valaket is a decent option. Beauchemin, I think he might, at best, he'd be medium top 6. At best. Or we could go with Prosser. And we can only afford to get one here. Now, since we don't have to worry about trade values, I think we'll hold off on Prosser. I might have to go with Valaket. I think Valaket's the guy. Yeah, let's go with Valaket. I'd rather have a low top 9 forward than a low bottom 6 defenseman. Let's go with Valaket and see what we get. Low top 9? Medium top 9. All right, that's a win. This draft, while we haven't ended up with exactly who we've wanted, I don't think I can say that I've swung and missed on a pick yet. I feel like we've done really well. Now, I haven't scrolled through like all the way through every round to, and actually Beauchemin wouldn't have been a bad pick either. Prosser was also medium starter, so he wouldn't have been a bad pick regardless. We could have ended up with, another really good goaltender, but that situation's already looking good thanks to our number 2 overall pick and the Saget pick. Now, I haven't scrolled through to see if there was like a medium top 6 guy just hiding out here. And that very well could have been the case throughout the 3rd and the 4th round. But overall, I feel like we're still in a really good spot. And this next pick will be interesting. So we have the high backup, Seth Stamkos. High AHL top 6, which probably equates to medium bottom 6 at best. Then we have someone who is projected to be medium bottom 6, Polak. But he's not projected to go until the 6th round. It is currently, the 5th round? Actually, Polak might be the guy we have to take here. He might be the guy. It's looking like Stamkos or Polak. Or Polak, I should say. Radoslav Polak. I don't like... I've heard like Roman Polak, for example, his name pronounced both ways. But when you say Polak, it just sounds like a slur. It does. Radoslav Polak. Aflak is going to be our pick. Radoslav Polak is our guy. Let's hope we're making the right choice. Medium bottom 6. Again, that's a win. He wasn't low. He wasn't low potential. That is another win for us. Absolutely. This has been our best draft from beginning to end by far in this series thus far. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And Stamkos wasn't taken for the longest time. He ended up being medium fringe. All right. So regardless of what happens with this last pick, this draft has been a success. Now we have these top 4 guys are all in the same kind of, area. And then we have these 3 guys as well. So we have Marshall Pojar, an enforcer defenseman. We have Ernest Worrell, an offensive defenseman, and another goaltender, and Ronald Inglis. All right, and then at the top, we have Tuukka Kuparainen, who is the best forward left available. We also have Kyle Hood, 17-year-old defenseman, so he'd be a project. We have Jake Shattenkirk, also 17, and Sven Pariarvi, also 17. All of those guys would be project defensemen for sure. Now, none of the 3 guys here were projected to be drafted. Hood and Shattenkirk were. Now, Shattenkirk doesn't have the high league interest. So the question is, do I just kind of go with Pojar just because he'd be a funny pick as an enforcer? and it would give us a different look on the team? Or do I go with Kuparainen or most likely Kyle Hood because there's actual potential there for them to be really solid players? I don't think I can afford to make that joke pick. So do I go with Hood or Kuparainen? And I think I'm going to go with Hood just because he was predicted or projected to be drafted and he has that high league interest. Or do I go with Tuukka Kuparainen? Damn, that's tough. That is a tough pick. And part of me really does want to go for the enforcer. I really do. But I think either of these two guys will end up being pretty damn good. So, with that said, I'm going to go with my gut. I'm going to go with Kyle Hood, just because he was actually projected to be drafted. Ends up being medium 7th D. That's not bad. Shattenkirk, it's a good thing we avoided him. It's a really good thing we avoided him. The question is, will the other guys be drafted? Will the other guys be drafted? Now, of course, I can't afford the sim to the end of the next round because that will end the draft. So I will go through these picks just to see if anyone was selected that we passed up on, to see if that was a mistake. Nikitin was medium bottom 6, but we didn't have any information on him. Next year, I might have to change up the draft and only scout them for 2 weeks as opposed to 3 weeks. It is tough to say. There were some areas that we scouted where we still didn't end up with decent picks. Parjarvi, it's a good thing we passed on him. Very good thing that we passed up on him. And Kuparainen was low bottom 6. I feel like we made the right choice again. I feel like we made the right choice, and from beginning to end, that was a very successful draft for this team. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And while we are approaching the hour mark, the draft took a little bit longer than I expected, and, combine that with taking a look at the stats. The latter half of this episode went for quite a while. But let's take a look at doing the re-sign phase here really quickly. Let's take a look. So we have Marmanland, we have Ottinger, Belanger will be let go, unfortunately, because Quirk will be signed. Wapple will be let go. And I don't want to buy out Anthony Brodeur yet, but I think that would be the right decision, because all 3 of these goalies belong to us. They were all drafted by us. So I am actually going to buy out Brodeur. It's 2 years. It's not going to be a major deal for us, especially like with the cap or anything. So, actually I said Anthony Brodeur. It was Jeremy Brodeur. I apologize. Let's sign all 5 of our goalies. And you know what we're going to do? Actually, with Marmanland, I'm still going to sign these guys to the exact contract that they want. The reason for that is in other series, I've signed players to like massive deals, much more than what they were asking for, and it backfired in a very heavy way. So we are just going to sign these guys to what they want. And that way we'll have, our goaltending is set. 5 goalies all drafted by us with some very promising players in the mix there. Moroza is our first defenseman to reach an 81. We'll sign him to the deal that he wants. We'll also sign Manulin, who was drafted by us. McSween, I hope you get picked up by somebody, but you're not ours, so you'll be let go. Same with Middleton. Ola Eriksson, we will sign. We'll also sign Kyle Hood, who will probably just be sent back down to junior, but that's okay. That's all right. Right wing's Connor Gay, again, we'll let go of, as well as Wong. And we'll sign Polak to a entry-level deal. I'm liking the look of this team, man. I'm liking the look of this team. Owen Lane gets a new contract. McSween, the other McSween, is also gone, as is Mongo and Topping. Treve Many Guns survives for another year, not like he's been playing. Nolan Patrick needs his first big boy deal, and a big boy deal he shall get. Sloboshan is gone. Skidung is gone. Gutierrez. Playfair. Skognamigilio is gone, as well as Beaton. It's going to be quite a bit of turnover, very obviously, as we head into the next year. And for that reason, we could be a worse team, but who knows? Who knows? I do plan on still signing, some pretty low-end guys, and we'll probably go off of names and stuff like that. We do have a lot of contracts that we need to sign players to, but we are getting some really good progression. Nolan Patrick is turning into that legitimate first-line guy. Our goaltending is set up for years to come now, It's just a matter of, getting through a few more seasons, continuing to add those forwards and defensemen. Yes, we're only adding 7 players at a time, but we will get there. We will get there. And like I said, with the goaltending, we're good to go. I'll give you guys one last look here at our situation. With the goaltending, we are good to go. Sure, in a future draft, we could take another goaltender because Kolosov doesn't have the best value. But between Saget, Cork, Ottinger, and Marmanland, we're good. We are absolutely good. I mean, those guys are going to be our starters. And it's going to reach the point where we might have to let somebody go. At that stage, maybe we could say, okay, you're allowed to trade them for a pick. Maybe just one pick. So I don't know. We'll have to decide because it might reach the point where Ottinger, Cork, and Saget are all ready, and we have to get rid of one. Rather than releasing one, we could trade them for a 7th, maybe get fair value with one pick. So say they deny a 2nd-round pick, but we can get a 3rd, we could do that. But that's still down the line. That is still down the line, and we don't have to worry about it. Defensively, Moroza, Hayduk, Manulin, making good progression. No doubt about that. And of course, with the forwards, Patrick, Winquist, and Svechnikov leading the way. We'll see what Owen Lane can eventually become. But guys, that will do it for another episode of Draft to Glory, as we have, I believe, broken the hour mark on this episode. A fun episode for me, as I got to just shoot the ship for a bit, and then, once again, we improve our team. We had our best season yet. We just had our best draft yet. Things are looking up for the Washington Capitals, but can we keep this momentum going? That is the question, and we'll find out in the next episode where we go through the off season. That isn't something we had to do in the last episode, or in this episode. In this episode, we didn't really have to sign anybody. In the next episode, we will. So that'll take up a little bit more time. But the plan is to still sim the entire season in the next episode. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys are as well. But if you enjoyed this video, of course, make sure to hit that like button to help support the channel. Subscribe if you haven't already to continue following this series and others. Follow me on Twitter at Tukey24 for updates and other random stuff. And join the notification squad if you haven't already. Guys, again, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next episode of Draft to Glory.